In this section, we're going to look at constructing confidence intervals for paired data and also hypothesis testing for paired data. A study was conducted to investigate the effectiveness of hypnotism in reducing pain. Results for randomly selected subjects are shown in the table below. A lower score indicates less pain. The before value is matched to an after value. Are sensory measurements on average lower after hypnotism? Construct a hypothesis test at the 0.05 level of significance and run a 95% confidence interval and interpret. So we see the table below. We have before, we have subjects A, B, C, D, all the way through J. We have a before and after with those values in there. So one thing we need to do is define the difference, because we have a choice here. We can either do before minus after or after minus before. So we need to, if it's the problem itself does not state it, you need to state it. So our difference here is going to be before minus after. And you want to think, is this big minus small or small minus big? We're hoping that after the hypnotism, it's reduced. So we're taking what we hope is a bigger number minus a smaller number. A big number minus a small number will be positive, so numbers greater than 0. This will help us frame our alternative hypothesis. So the null hypothesis is going to be the difference, mu sub d, equals 0. The difference equals 0. The alternative hypothesis is going to be the difference is greater than 0. This is only because we selected the difference to be before minus after. If we had selected after minus before, which is fine, we'd be doing small number minus a big number, which are negative numbers, numbers that are less than 0. So it can go either way. You get the same answer no matter which one you do. As usual, we have some conditions. So the data must be paired, so in some way. So often this is in the form of before and after, pre-test, post-test. It could also be in the form of a husband-wife, brother-sister, which are clearly not independent. So the second condition is it's independent. Wait a second, I thought we said that the data had to be dependent and not independent. Well, our pairs are dependent, but the differences must be independent of each other. For example, subject A's difference has nothing to do with subject B's difference. And as usual, we have to have a simple random sample. And the 10% condition, that is, we can't have too big of a sample. And the nearly normal condition. So if our sample is less than 30, we generally will run some normality test in the form of a histogram, a dot plot, box plot, and or QQ plot. So for our data, we're first going to pop it into StatCrunch. Then go to tstat. This is paired data. And here I selected before to be sample 1, after sample 2. I'm going to save the differences. You don't have to have that saved. And the hypothesis test, again, notice how it aligns with what I already wrote. The difference equals 0 and mu sub d is greater than 0. Because in StatCrunch and many other statistical editing programs, it tells you mu d equals mu1 minus mu2. And let's go ahead and select these optional graphs just so we can see them. And because our data set has fewer than 30 elements, I need to see these anyway. And so this is what our visuals look like. No major departures from normality. Our QQ plot looks good. Those dots need to be roughly along that same line. Our histogram needs to be roughly normal. And our box plot needs to be roughly symmetric. And we usually give a lot of grace here on the t-test. And then our output, average mean difference of 2.51 with a p-value of 0.0001. So we definitely reject HO. We conclude there is enough evidence that the pain level is reduced by hypnotism. And then we go back and run the 95% confidence interval, and we see, because it's very natural to ask, well, there is a difference. What is the difference? And so when we do that, we get a difference between 1.52 and about 3.50. So we're 95% confident that the hypnotism reduces pain on average 1.52 to 3.50 points on this particular scale. So I hope that helps.